And welcome back to JKLIVE here at Citizen Television. We're on the bench with arguably the most powerful woman in the country today, with 180 days to go before the elections. That's right, exactly 6 months. And Nderitu, the Registrar of Political Parties, is literally holding all the cards. So you better listen carefully and attentively. Welcome to the bench.
Thank you.
Registrar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. About how many political parties do we have in Kenya right now?
Right now we have 85 registered political parties.
85?
85, yes.
Good.
Only.
Oh.
Yeah.
85?
Yes.
And they're all going to appear on that ballot?
Yes, and counting. And counting, because there are other Kenyans who are still in the process of registration of political parties, because it's their right.
Right.
Under Article 38 of the Constitution, political rights, the right to associate politically. Yeah, the Constitution also.
So there are still others,
right.
there are still some applying for parties as we speak?
Yes, there are others at various stages of registration, because registration generally is a process that starts by looking for a name, the symbol, then you make your constitution, you get founder members, write their minutes, and they start the process.
Okay.
Yeah, the process really go for quite some time. Majority of the people who register parties go up to 1 year, or some go even to 2 years. Yeah, but the minimum period you can register ranges from 8 months to 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It brings me to a question I was asked earlier on. Our colleague Fred Obach Machoka says he has been registered in a party called Kenya Patriots Party.
Yes.
Which he has never heard of.
Yes, it exists. It's there. Kenya Patriots Party is an old party that was registered 2006.
But he's not even a member.
Yeah. That is now his case, his word against the party. Yeah.
But there are a lot of people who look it up, who look up and they say, hey, how come I'm in this party and I've never registered for this party?
Yeah.
There are a lot of people with that.
Yeah. Sure, we cannot deny the fact that there are many complaints. There are some complaints, not so many, but a few complaints from Kenyans who say that they find themselves in the database of a party. Probably they never assented to. But I want to say that the data that we hold is actually, the registration happened at the political party. It's political parties that register members, and then they upload the data in our database so that as custodian, as required by the Act, then we manage that data. But it's also important to know that that data ranges from as long as the party started registering in Kenya. So it is possible for people to have changed party, done many things on the party register without necessarily keeping the track of what happened. Yeah. So we are aware of those complaints. The most important fact is to know what is it that we can do to curb future, because it's always good for an institution to be progressive. Yeah, so that if there's a complaint, you look at the complaint and then look at how best then you can handle that complaint.
Okay.
So I think we should be speaking also what are the measures the Office of Registrar is putting in place to ensure that Kenyan give consent when they are being registered into political parties. And then how would we also implement the Data Protection Act, because the law says that then there are certain data that is protected. So those are the issues that we should be speaking progressively to see how do we close the gaps. Yeah, because that data is old and that data has been built for a long time. So our measures is what then we should discuss here. Okay, the other thing that a lot of people are discussing right now is the Political Parties Amendment Act. Yes. Which was a bill that is now in law, has been signed into law. Yes. What exactly is the Political Parties Amendment Act? The Political Parties Amendment Act, which is already signed, actually it's already law, try to address gaps that has been noticed across the years in the process of implementing the Political Parties Act, and try to address some of the issues like the one we are raising so that we progressively grow democracy in this country. So it addresses the gaps. It also addresses issues that has come as a result of court rulings, so that when a court rules in a certain manner, then you try to see how then to address this going forward. It also look progressively into strengthening political parties and institutionalization of political parties. So generally, the Act really is a lot of collection of those information that came from stakeholders, and then putting them into law and try to repackage them on how we can address the issues that affect us.
Already civil society has gone to the courts, and they want this stop because, for one, they argue that there was no public participation. That's the one thing they say. There's hardly any public participation.
That's an argument that that data can be provided on public participation, because this particular law did not start today or when it went to Parliament. The making of a bill has a lot of consultation that go into it. And first of all, it is important for the citizen and every person who is listening to note that first of all, we started with the political parties primaries bill, which actually had stakeholders cutting across a task force that was formed by the Registrar of Political Parties to come together so that it look at what are the gaps, because there were so many complaints. There were complaints after 2017, there were complaints in 2013, so issues touching on party primaries, for example. So the Registrar of Political Parties, as an office, decided to compose a task force. The task force has all the major government institutions and civil societies that really were looking at the issues that had been affecting the country, especially in party primaries. We had the Attorney General, the Kenya Rule Reform, the IBC, the OLPP, EACC, many institutions. Actually, the Senate, we had a representative of the Senate, Parliament, and many institutions, about 10, 15 institutions that were there. So they came up with the first draft. This first draft was subjected to various stakeholders, including civil societies. The list can be provided, including civil societies, including government institutions, including making a parliamentary caucus, by the way, which looked at the party primaries bill. Finally, this bill, the parliamentary caucus agreed that this political parties primaries bill should be taken by one of them so that they move with it. And it was taken over by Honorable Senator Mwaura to the Senate. So some of the provisions in this particular amendment act were actually picked directly from that bill and then put into, because the bill delayed a bit and then time was moving also. So some of these amendments that were already in the political parties primaries bill were picked verbatim and placed in there. So that consultation process had happened for almost 2 years.
So why do you think they're going to court now? Why are they going to court?
That is the first thing. When the bill also was ready to be presented, it also went itself, it was taken through various public participation, including political parties. All political parties actually were called severally, the political parties liaison committees, the civil society, the selected civil societies, the caucus team, and everybody else was actually put there. So by the time it was going to Parliament, it has really undergone a lot of discussions, and we had agreed with the key stakeholders, including the political parties themselves.
Yeah. Yes. Here's something else that civil society is saying. They're saying the inclusion of coalition political parties threatens to undermine the constitutional definition of Kenya as a multi-party state.
I think if you look at how the coalition political party has been said to be executed, the coaliting partners are supposed to come together under an umbrella, which we are calling now the coalition political party. Those rights of Article 38 of the citizen are already articulated in the parties that are coming together. So, so it doesn't change the definition of association. It's actually expanding the space in terms of association. How can people associate in a different way? And it's still the same Article 38 that give that right, that Kenyans have a right actually to associate politically. So if we expand that right through a coalition political party, and then you are not removing the other right of political party as we know it, I do not see how then it is affecting the right of Kenyans.
Okay, what about
because
when they say...
the most important thing is about rights.
Sure.
Whether political rights are violated in any manner. So the question we should be asking ourselves, are we violating any right? If we are not violating, then you cannot also deny, on the other hand, the right to associate. If Kenyans think that there's another way of associating and it's not affecting JF associating in another way, then we guarantee that right. All rights are rights and they are guaranteed.
Okay, what about when they say you're limiting the role of the Auditor General?
The role of the Auditor General,
yes,
in the bill,
yes,
in the act. In the act.
Yeah.
I do not think the role of Auditor General is being limited, because Auditor General has already an act to audit all public money, wherever it may be. Even if it was not in the Political Parties Act, the role of the Auditor General is governed in other laws. And the law is very clear, including the Constitution, that wherever public funds are, then the Auditor General is expected to do that. So indeed, the Act does not remove the powers of the Auditor General to audit political parties at all. Yeah, it's not removing. Yeah.
Let's come back.
Especially when it comes to public funds.
Okay. We have 180 days to go before the elections.
Yeah.
All right? The question is, by when should one be a part of a political party for the purposes of contesting seats in the August polls? By when should they be in a party?
Looking at the Amendment Act, the Amendment Act says that 14 days before the register is submitted to IEBC, it should be submitted to Registrar so that it is certified, and then submitted to IEBC. So if you count that the IEBC will be receiving the register on the 9th according to IEBC timelines, then that says that the register, a member must be in the register before it's submitted to Registrar, which is 26th of March, 2022. So basically, it's by 26th of March. It means that anybody who wants to participate in election 2022, either as an aspirant, all a voter during political parties primary, all anything that you want to do within the register of membership of political parties, then even as a supporter, where there's demand for a supporter to support any of the candidate in the political arena, then that person must be in the register by the 26th of March.
Of March?
Yes.
That's the last date?
That's the last date, yes.
Okay, look, you are, no doubt, you're the custodian of party membership of Registered.
Yes.
You and your office. And there are people, there are critics who say there's a lot of monkey business that goes on in the political parties. And you can disadvantage some people, you can advantage some people, you omit some people from the register. What assurances can you give people watching you right now that the party they register for is the one that they will be in?
First of all, a person must choose the party you want to register in. We have made it even very easy for Kenyans to register on to any political parties that you want. We have made the register available on eCitizen platform so that you are able to resign from the party that you do not wish to continue to belong. Then you are able still to join a political party of your choice. So once you join, what we are guaranteeing is that our system does not allow any person to remove you except with your consent. So the minute you register and you are a member of that particular political party, first of all, you are able to check whether you are still a member on eCitizen platform at any time. Soon we are also coming up with the USSD code, where you dial a number, star a number, then hash, and then you are able to see, which should be ready probably by next week, where you see the you are able to check your membership and also resign using your phone, using the comfort of your phone. Having said that, then it means that every Kenyan has a right to belong to a political party and remain in that political party of choice. It is not possible for you to be registered by any other person except by your own consent, either through the e-citizen or by writing a letter to be resigned, because it's the registrar who remove you from the register legally. So we cannot remove you until we see a letter, or you self-administrate the record, your own record, and resign. So it's an assurance we are giving to viewers that really, once you register in a political party, you are able to remain in that political party.
Yeah.
And once you want to leave, then you are able also to leave. It's your political right to either belong or leave at will.
Which brings me to my next point, which thank you for that, because there are members of Jubilee Party who say they have left and gone to UDA, but they are still in Jubilee.
Yes.
And it's very confusing to people like us. Which party do they belong to? And they are out there campaigning for UDA, and yet they are Jubilee.
To the registrar, they belong to the party. We see them in our register. As far as they are still members of that party in our register, then they are members of that party. And that's why you see there's a lot of issues about resignation from one party to another, so that we are able to move from one party to another, especially towards election, which is also a political right, that towards election, you choose which party you want to run with. And that's why we are saying before 26th, then a person is able to do that. And I want to probably for a minute to talk about the resignation, especially for the elected leaders. That if you go to a system, it's not allowing the elected leaders to resign. And if it has allowed any person, may be by mistake, because we have locked all elected leaders not to resign on e-citizen, because they must be subjected to Section 14 of the Political Parties Act, where they write to the party, and then the party stamp that they have seen that resignation, the party they are resigning from. And then they also write to the clerk of the assemblies, if they are MCAs, or the clerk of the National Assembly, if they are members of parliament, and so forth. And then with those two documents, that's when we can only clear them, when they come. Yeah, so they must notify the party they are resigning, and then also notify the county assembly or parliament that they are resigning, and then we are able to remove them. So they are subjected through a process.
And they have to do this all in writing?
All in writing, yes. For members, for elected leaders and nominated leaders, they have to do it in writing.
We're saying from MCA to women's reps, everything?
Yes, everyone, yes. Everyone has to write. Because there's a Section 14 that give clearly how a member, an elected member, should resign, whether nominated or elected.
And what if they haven't resigned? What if they haven't left their party by March 26th? Then what?
Then they are not participating in the next general election, other political party, unless they participate as independent candidates. Yes. Once you are locked out from the party at that particular time, and the register is certified and given to IBC, and it's given to parties for party primaries, then you cannot open that register to then try to participate in the next general election. So the issue is you must really be on the register on the 26th of March.
Yeah. There are going to be no primaries held after that. If one, for instance, loses in a primary in one party, can they now join another party to continue on and hope to be elected on that? No,
you cannot party hope. That's why the register is closed. This time, and if you look at the current law, the amendment law, this time we are saying that we are holding, for the first time, we'll be holding closed party primaries, as opposed to open party primaries. Closed party primaries mean that you are using the membership register of the political party that you belong to the party is using its own members to conduct party primaries. So once you are in the closed party register, then you cannot really move to another from that party to another political party. And then the parties are doing, these are timelines, which parties then are also doing the party primaries. So by the time, there's no time for you to jump from one political party to another.
So you're saying no party hopping?
No party hopping, yes.
What if you lose in one party in the primary and you decide, I'm going independent? Is that allowed?
As far as the timelines, there's a small window around there, which really, if the other proposed law go through, then that window can close. But there's a small window where a person can, as currently as the law start, can be able to move. But it's so small that to move to become independent. But our clarion call is that Article 85 of the Constitution was made for those Kenyans who never wished to participate in political party business, which allowed independent candidates to thrive and to present their to live before 90 days towards election. It was meant for those people who really were uncomfortable with party processes. So the best option is actually for Kenyans to choose which method you want to run. Do you want to run as a dependent candidate? Make up your mind. You bring your document in time so that we are able to clear you as an independent candidate. If you want to participate in parties, then you participate in political parties, and then in that political party, then after the party primary is free and fair, then you actually support the person who have won the party primaries. So it's important for Kenyans to make that choice so that we grow our democracy. The minute we have people jumping from parties to independent candidates and then saying how parties were unfair, you're also being unfair to political parties and to the candidates that have actually worked to win their way to win the political party's nomination ticket. So it is always important that people are able to choose which method they intend to use. Yeah,
there's been a membership row between UDA and Jubilee. I'm sure you've heard a lot of complaints you're receiving. How are you able to resolve them? Because there's a lot of pirating back and forth. They're poaching each other's people back and forth.
Yeah.
How are you able to resolve that?
First of all, every party has a right to register its members. And members can come from this party and move to this one and go back and do all that. So the question is whether the complaints really are grounded. And that's what the registrar is expected to investigate. Once we discover that complaints have merit, then we take other steps that we are going to take. But sometimes it's a question of clarifying to the parties responsible, telling them this is what is happening, because sometimes it's the information gaps that makes people to suspect that something is happening. And our office is usually very engaging to the political parties. And I can tell you we have engaged the political parties in that particular issue. And they have come to a conclusion that there's actually no dispute per se. It's members just exercising, some members exercising their right to move from this party to this other one, to this other one, within the meaning of Article 38. So really, sometimes it's information gaps that comes along. And once you bring people around the table and you talk to them about the issue, then you discover that they understand each other and they are able to move.
There's someone who is asking, on polling day, will you avail the party membership registers to the polling stations of each of the registered parties? Will you have it available?
Does he mean polling day or party primaries?
Polling day.
Or party primaries. Yes. What the current law, obligates the registrar to do, and I want to make it very clear, the registrar is not expected to run party primaries, to conduct party primaries, nor supervise. It is the IEBC, all the political parties that can do that. To conduct an election is the business of the party, or on special request, the IEBC can be requested to conduct for them. what we are doing and what the Act is providing is regulation of political parties. Regulation in the manner that Article 92 of the Constitution gives the registrars the power to regulate political parties' activities. Political parties primaries, which we call political parties nomination, is a political party activity. So what we are doing is only setting the ground. Regulation still just means setting the ground rules so that you create a fair playing field for everyone. So setting the ground rule does not mean that we are going to conduct party primaries for political parties. For that reason, therefore, this particular law allows the registrar to certify a copy of the register and say this is the register that shall be used. So how now the party move that register to polling station and deal with it, because it is their register and it is their nomination, then it's their business, the business of the party to do that. The law expects that a party is also an institution running just like the office of registrar. So for that reason, the party is able to arrange its own business, because you do not also want to interfere. No institution should interfere with another institution. In this case, the registrar does not intend, and the law does not also envisage, where the registrar is interfering with political party democracy within their political parties. It's upon them to plan. And if you look at the law, Jeff, that law is just requesting for particular transparency and openness for party primaries. For example, it tells political parties that before you conduct party primaries, just declare to the registrar and to your members what method you are going to use. Are you going to use universal suffrage, which we are calling direct party primaries, or are you going to use indirect party primaries? Where then we shall ask you, are you doing interview? Will you do consensus? Are you doing delegate system? Are you doing electoral college? What exactly are you doing? So once you declare which method, then your members are able to know. And you can have a hybrid of the same, because you can say in constituency B, I'm going to do direct party primaries. In constituency C, I am going to do indirect. I'm going to conduct interviews.
And
I'm
all
going to do
85
that.
parties have to do this, have to go through this?
Yes.
All 85 that are
All
registered
85 political parties have to do this. Then the other issue that law is asking is just to come and declare, where are your venues? Where is the venue? Then, because a good election, as an election practitioner, I know that a good election has to have the register. We must know who are the voters. And that's what we are saying by certifying the register, so that we have one common register. Everybody knows this is the register, this is what we are going to do. A good election also we must know when is the date of that election. And we must also know where will be the elections taking place. So this law is only demanding, declare that to the registrar and also to your members. The registrar will put this information in the website of registrar. The party will also put the information in their website.
Can two parties hold primaries on the same day? Like we've been hearing, ODM and Jubilee might have joint NDC or primaries. Is that allowed?
Yeah, if they are in a coalition, if it's a coalition party, for example, or a coalition as we know it, then there's nothing to prevent parties to hold joint nomination, because if their coalition agreement says that. So it's upon their coalition agreement, because it's a right to association again. Yeah, once they agree that this is where we want to hold our party primaries, then they can go joint, because that is what is stipulated in their own coalition agreement. Yeah.
And I'm very confused, and I want to take a break because, let's say I was in ANC last week or Fort Kenya, and this week I'm in UDA, and it's very confusing for the average Kenyan. I need you to break.
Did you move? Did you
Not
move from here?
me.
I'm saying, you, the person, the hypothetical person.
Yes.
Has this hypothetical person moved from one party to the other?
Well, they have, let's say, partnered. That's the word they're using, partners.
They are partners.
Yeah.
Then they will enter into a coalition. And a coalition is either a coalition party or a coalition as we know it.
Okay, let's explain coalitions when we come back. We're talking to probably the most powerful woman in Kenya right now, indeed, and Nderitu, the Registrar of Political Parties. I didn't know there were 85 political parties in Kenya. Some of them with membership. What's the lowest membership? Like 3 people? Or?
No, any party to be existing in our register, it must have at least 24,000 members.
Come
at
on.
least.
Oh, they are. Oh, come on.
Yes.
And there's 85 of them.
There are 85 of them. We have a database of 24.6 million Kenyans.
But we only have 22 million voters this year.
No, it's the law does not require you to be a registered voter to be a member of a political party. Indeed, it says when you turn 18 and you want to join a political party, then you can go ahead and join. So we have members who are registered voters. About 87% of our are members who are registered voters. 13% are Kenyans who are not necessarily registered voters, but they have turned 18.
Wow. No wonder rigging happens all the time. I'm kidding.
No, you don't rig through a register. That's why we want to make the register really foolproof.
No, it's not possible. It's not possible. We'll talk about it. And also diaspora as well.
Yeah.
They're included in this year's election, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay,
they
let's
are,
take a break. And Nderitu is my guest. If you have questions, send them right away. At Koinange Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag JKLIVE. What an interesting conversation. It's all about elections. Wow. JKLIVE takes a break. We'll be back in a moment. 24 million. And welcome back to Jeff Koinange Live here at Citizen Television. Did you know there were 85 political parties in Kenya? I didn't. 24 million Kenyans registered so far and counting, as according to the Registrar of Political Parties and Nderitu here. She knows a thing or two about political parties. And we were talking during the break, and you're saying a lot of people complain about the register. And how it needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
What are you doing to clean up the voter register?
The membership register. The membership register. The membership register, first of all, is we are doing integration with IPRS, the data, so that any ghost person in the register will be wheeled out. Because once your ID cannot match your name, then that you don't exist. Or sometimes the ID has some numbers that are left, or actually the data is there and the ID is wrong captured. By that integration, we are doing a very serious ICT reform. First of all, once the reform is over, once you not be able to join in the membership register, if your ID is not correctly captured, it must be correctly captured. So the first of all is to weed that. Any person who actually has mismatching data. The second issue is to ensure that any Kenyan who want to resign from a political party, we make it easy for that Kenyan to resign. So that those Kenyans saying, oh, I'm in this political party and I do not wish to continue to belong to this political party, then you are able to leave. And that's the reason why we are coming up with the USSD code, which will allow a Kenyan to resign and also to check your membership status, and then we also connect you to a link. We know that we are in eCitizen, but eCitizen may not have captured all Kenyans. That we have just said that we have a database of 24 million plus. So eCitizen may be captured half of that. The rest then, we want to help through the use of USSD code and through the phone. We know that there are about 95% penetration of phones. So that means then any Kenyan will be able to, majority of the Kenyans will be able to inspect the register and leave and join a political party of their choice. Once we do that, then we are cleaning the register and reorganizing the register to where members of that register would want to be.
Okay.
There are people who would want to move from this party to another. So you create an avenue. Right now, it's very cumbersome, Jeff, to resign. Before the eCitizen came on board, it was a bit cumbersome because you could have just written to make your request through written document. That is a lot of paperwork, and COVID has taught us many things. One of it is to try and do away with a lot of paperwork so that we eliminate also, we become environmental friendly also.
Yeah.
So by moving this data to eCitizen, it has helped quite a number of Kenyans. Then when you go to USSD, then many people will be able to leave and join parties at wish. That one will automatically clean the register. After that, then we make sure that for you to be registered, you must give consent. We shall have a SMS service that once your ID number and have been keyed in your phone number, then you are notified in your phone that you are just about to be registered in Party D, so that you give consent, yes or no.
You yourself, you give consent?
Yeah. You, the person who is being registered.
Okay.
So once you give consent, then you are registered. If you don't give consent, then you are not registered. By doing that, then we shall continually clean the register.
And all those uncollected IDs that are in chief's offices or at Huduma centers, all those uncollected IDs, what happens to them?
You see, that is, it is you who is registering. So if you want to register to a political party, you will go collect your ID from the chief. Then come and register to a political party, because the ID is the document that is the unique identifier for a Kenyan.
How long is this cleanup going to take? We have 6 months of the elections, and you know that. 6 months.
Yes.
How are you going to clean up this?
When you do use technology, within a week or two, you'll be able to let Kenyans, the one who want to leave and join, and you have opened the system, you'll be able to move data as required. Kenyans will be able to leave others. The issue of cleaning up, removing people who may not be matching data, that is just in a day to do that. The others is a question of people going to the parties they want to belong at that particular time. So before that 26th of March, I know every person who wants to be in any political party will have an opportunity to do that.
So all I will need is an SMS and I can join a party or leave a party?
Yes, it's just a code, yes. You can actually, just through a code, an SSD code. An SSD code is where you say star number 000 hash. Then, and I'm not saying that is the code. We shall be unveiling the code once we finish the process. Yeah.
And again, for Kenyans who are hearing this for the first time ever. Oh, I'm sorry. I think there's something wrong with my
your mic.
It's
better. Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you. March 26th is the deadline.
Yes, it is the deadline for any Kenyan who want to participate in political parties, primary, or vie as a candidate, or be a supporter of a person, or use anything to do with the membership register. They are required to have joined the membership register at that particular time.
Someone is asking, they were registered back in 1993, right?
Yes.
And guess what? They were 3 years old at that time, and they were registered in a party. How?
That's what the data...
That's what the data says. In 1993 is when they were registered, and they were 3 years old then.
That is part of the cleanup, we are saying.
This cleanup you keep talking about, how long is this cleanup going to take?
No, I've just told you we are in that reform period, and sooner or later, once we do that and people are able to resign, it's possible. It's part of the cleanup, aligning those dates. Because sometimes it's the pickup of the,
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like we're having a little problem with my microphone, but we're going to correct that right now. In the meantime, what do you tell first-time voters? First-time voters.
First-time voters.
Yeah, what do you tell them?
Is that they should endeavor to participate in political parties, because participation in political party processes is the first thing to participate in an election. So the best thing is actually to embrace political party democracy, that our constitution guarantees that we are a multi-party, and therefore Kenyans should actually join political parties and participate in political parties.
By the way,
Kenyans should actually not sit somewhere, complain about political parties, and then complain about politicians, and they are not participating in the party processes. There's nobody who is sitting somewhere to just do all the work for you, and then you are Kenyan sitting somewhere. The best thing, join political parties, participate in political party processes, support the leaders who are coming up, then you make your choice of which leader you want to support, and by that supporting them, you will celebrate. And I want to say, Jeff, it's the right time to say that Kenyans should change their perception on political parties and politicians. That that these are the people who are actually doing a lot of governance work. They actually have put themselves out there to run political parties and also run using those political parties. Yet, Kenyans demonize political parties. I am here to tell Kenyans as the registrar, let's change perception against political parties and start supporting them, starting associating with political parties and then start building them. The Constitution, when we were actually a one-party state, we really complained and went even to the street to change. Yeah, and when I hear Kenyans saying that those political parties are too many, I wonder whether they want us to clog that right of having many political parties. Yet we actually went ahead and cramped for that multi-party democracy.
Yeah.
To me, I think we should support political parties. And even the first-time voters, let's start by joining political parties before they also become registered as voters, because registration of voting is also very critical to become voters, but also join political parties, support political party processes that you are able. Even if you then do not become a member, become a supporter of political parties.
Yeah, and do you even remember those days of one-party state? Do you even remember?
We don't. That's why Kenyans don't. The people, especially who are born later after that, probably do not remember how people actually were really craving that we should have multi-party democracy. So we cannot give that right on one hand and deny it. We can have regulation like we are doing through laws and all that, so that we make political party institutions of governance. What we actually is required right now is strengthening political parties as institution of governance by actually also giving political parties fund, try to make sure that the fund is as per the requirement of the law, and even more, so that our political parties are supported to grow. Once we grow democracy, then we have a reason to celebrate as a country, because we are a democratic country.
Absolutely. Okay, there's a very interesting question here from Mahende. He's asking, okay, so you've entered the polling station.
Yes.
You've given your ID. You've entered that booth. You're going to now mark. And last time, the last two elections, there was something known as six-piece.
Yeah.
You know, you go down, shwa, and you vote for everyone in your party.
Yeah.
What if you don't want to vote for everyone who is in your party, but you've registered under a party?
No, you see, I think we should separate these two processes. The voter register, which is, the registration is done by IEBC. It's a separate document from party membership register. The party membership register is the documents kept by registrar, where data is corrected by political parties or members of that political party. But when you go to voting, it's not a must for you to be a member of a political party for you to vote. There's no connection. There's a different process.
You can vote for anyone you want.
Yeah, you can vote anyone you want. It doesn't matter which party you belong to, and you decide, I'm going to vote X in this party and B who is in a different party. Nothing prevents you from doing that as a Kenyan. So the two registers and two processes are not tied. They are mutually exclusive.
A lot of people don't understand that, by the way.
Yeah,
when they
are mutually exclusive. You are not a party is actually conducting its own business and party primaries and all that. IEBC is conducting the elections. That's when you go to the booth, you're actually voting the person of your choice. Yeah, but if you actually like the people in your party, because that's why you are in that particular political party, then you put the person who is actually in your party. But it's not a must that you must be in the membership register of a party for you to vote. Those two things are different. You must be in the register of IEBC, the voters register, the register of voters for you to vote. Yes. Thank
you for clearing that. A lot of people are very confused because once you belong to a party, they think you're there for life. And you have to vote?
No. And that's why we are even giving options for you to leave. Should you want not to continue being a member, then you have the right also to leave that party and join another.
How quick can you leave a party on this SMS? Let's say you change your mind.
That will be instant. Currently, under eCitizen, it takes about 12 hours for you you notify us, and then we are able to do the back-end process within 12 hours for you to resign. But when we come with this code, it will be instant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kenyans have a lot of questions, Madam. Let's go to the magic wall and see what they have to say. On Twitter, which tweets are coming in thick and fast, Victor Koske is saying, the stability of this country is derived from the legitimacy bestowed through popular elections. Is there any hope to stop shenanigans who aim at subverting free, fair, and verifiable elections by crippling political parties? Is there hope?
Yes, there's a lot of hope, Jeff. Yeah, that if we embrace the space of institutionalization of political parties by supporting them and having the correct perception, then and support political parties, then there's hope that political parties will grow to very serious institution of democracy, even funding them and allowing them to continue growing. Yeah. So there's a lot of hope.
Good. Mwangi Nge is asking, ask the registrar, if I have different favorite candidates for different seats with different political parties, is it possible for me to be a member of more than one political party for nomination purposes?
The answer is no. You can only belong, the law says you can only belong to one political party. And our system does not allow you to belong to more than one political party. You must make up your mind which party you love more, then you support that one for purposes of nomination.
But by the way, explain.
But for purposes of elections, you can elect different
whoever
people.
You want.
Yeah, whoever you want.
But you stick to your party.
You stick to your party. That is what democracy is about.
And what's the difference between a party and a coalition, for instance?
There's a difference between a party and a coalition. A coalition is parties coming together to form a union so that they arrange themselves for either taking power or running government. Yeah, so once they arrange themselves like that, the parties remain independent. Even in a coalition political party, the parties remain, constituent parties remain independent, but they come together as a coalition party or a coalition so that they are able to plan themselves to how to win elections or even to run government. So there's a difference. A party is a unit where then members are there and all that. A coalition does not have members. The members of a coalition, even a coalition party, are actually constituent parties. They are parties that are coming together.
So like NASA was a coalition?
NASA was a coalition of I think four or five different political parties. Yes.
And Jubilee is a party?
Jubilee is a party, but you also have a Jubilee coalition.
Okay. Jubilee is still there?
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jobto is asking, on the 26th of March 2022 is the date one should be in the list of the party of their choice according to the registrar. But how long does the registration process take? My application has been pending for the last 7 days. Okay,
the application to register to a political party may be pending because of the political party. Probably they have not been able to see it. Because once you apply on eCitizen, what happens is that that notification of your application go to the political party, and also a note goes to the political party. So it's the political party that should actually confirm you that you have now been registered and go to them through an email. So probably the party has not been able to check whether, so they can contact our office or contact the political party.
Yeah, it's been 7 days. I mean, that's too long, Registrar. That's too long.
It's too long. But that's what I'm saying. We can help him because probably the political party has not been able to see his record.
And the SMS will be available next week, you said, huh?
Yes.
It will be available.
Yeah, and the registration then will be made easy because it will be direct. The member registered and then it will go direct to the database of that political party.
Very good.
Yeah.
Bob,
the political party will only see it now, then approve you.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they don't give you a tick, what if they don't approve you? Or...
No, they must approve you because they must approve that the political party has the sole right to approve whether they want you as their member.
Correct.
Once they agree they want you as your member, then they must approve you.
Bob Michel is asking, kindly ask the registrar whether or not independent candidates can also form a coalition of independent candidates and register a coalition agreement.
The answer is a clear no, because the minute you say that you are independent of political parties. You are independent of political parties, then you cannot come together and say you are forming a coalition.
Of independence.
Because you are independent.
Right.
You exist as a molecule alone. Yeah, so therefore, we expect you to engage alone, not in a coalition, because a coalition is actually for political parties. Very good. Okay, thank you for clearing that. While Moshe Jage is asking, I resigned from ANC party, which I had never registered to be a member, was always a member of Jubilee, which I officially resigned to. Now, today I checked, and now I belong to the Communist Party, which I had no idea exists. Is that true? Some of those issues are the ones we are saying we want to address. That once
you want to address, but yes. It's a mess. It sounds like you people are, it's a mess where you are.
No, it's not.
This person he resigned from ANC, was in Jubilee, now he's in the Communist Party.
That one can only be investigated because members of the public also do that. They can move from one political party to another without knowledge. And I'll tell you a good example. Sometimes we have seen political parties going on a drive to recruit. That's why I'm saying it needs an investigation also. You cannot just take it at face value. Because even a political party has a right of reply. So I've seen members of the public, for lack of, like you see the question, for lack of information, you see a party come today to recruit members. And then they come, they have T-shirts, they have nice songs, and then you say, do you want to be a member? You say, yes. You become a member. You don't know the implication. Tomorrow, another one come. And they tell you, this is the way to resign. You say, they tell you, you're actually there, and we have seen you are registered in this party, you can resign. And they resign, and they are told, now you can join our party. And they join, actually, because they don't know the implication of that. So that's why I'm saying we cannot judge that particular issue at face value. We can only go deeper to investigate. The other Kenyans who actually associate with political parties, and they assume because I associate with party X, I'm automatically a member. And they come complaining that, surely, I don't know why I'm not a member of this party, because I have even been moving with them. I have done ABCD with them. How can you tell me I'm not a member? But the answer is, have you registered as a member of that political party? So there are so many things, Jeff, that can be said about that statement. An investigation can actually reveal the actual position, because we have seen people complaining. Okay.
Hudson Kidiga saying, can we have 2 political parties in Kenya to reduce expenses?
Unless we do away with Article 4.2, which give a multi-party democracy, and Article 38 of the Constitution, which give Kenyans rights of the association through political parties, and we do away with Article 91, 92. So as far as those are existing in the Constitution, I do not see how then we can reduce.
But there should be a ceiling at least, and a bit of a ceiling. 85 is too many, yeah?
Now, there are other jurisdictions that have many others.
Tell me, like where? Like where?
Yeah, there are so many.
Tell me.
I'll give you an example of our neighbors, like Tanzania. They have 123.
Political parties?
Yes, South Africa has 200 and something. The only thing probably we need to do is once you register and then you are not active, you make the registration process a bit easier. So that once you actually of no value as a political party, then you can be registered and then you cease to exist. But registration and right to association cannot be denied because it's a guaranteed right in the Constitution. And 85 is not too many. With a population of over 50 million Kenyans.
85 is not many.
It's not many. You are giving people options. And when you don't give people options, let me tell you what usually happens.
Go on.
When you don't give people options to have different political parties where they can run, then you shall create tension. Because once the nomination, for example, becomes so tension, and there are so many very nice potential candidates, and then there are only 2 political parties, for example, you are saying that you are not giving Kenyans option to choose. Let Kenyans have variety to choose from through different political parties. The other scenario is that you'll be pushing every Kenyan to run as an independent candidate. You can imagine if you have or any person who wants to run as an independent candidate. How do you even govern them? Political parties are tools of governance. Political parties are able to whip their members into a certain agenda. Political parties are able to actually talk to each other within the political parties and even maintain party discipline and maintain people, their own members. Yeah. And the elected leader in the particular right. If you say then that we have only 2 political parties, then you are saying Kenyans, we have no option. So they fight for that one ticket, then majority of them become independent because our democratic space actually is this big as a country. And we have given it to ourselves, the freedom of speech, we are able to associate, we are able to air our mind. So at the same breath, let's give Kenyans options through political parties.
Okay. You said Tanzania has how many parties again? About
120 something.
I thought it was just CCM.
No, there are so many other parties. There are so many other parties. Even if you go to another country, by the way, if you go to another country out in Africa, they also think that Kenya has 2 political parties. Yeah, the same, because sometimes, and it's the media who actually are guilty of that. Sometimes you popularize 2, 3 political parties, all 4. Yet there are so many other political parties. So me, as registrar, I have come to ask you, kindly popularize my 85 registered political parties because they are giving Kenyans.
Okay, Registrar, for one, give me one example of a party that I probably have not heard of. Just give me one name.
I don't know. Me, I've heard all of them.
But
so I don't know.
Just give me one that we hardly mention in the news.
When is the last time you mentioned a party like CCU? When is the last time you mentioned a party called GTAB? Do you know a party called United Green Movement? Do you know a party called Umoja na Maendeleo Party? Do you know there are many parties you have not mentioned? Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
We are sorry. Hakim Zayek says, what if I own a party called Chama Maendeleo and my opponent owns his called Chama Geuzi? Then he decides to steal my symbol. What happens?
First of all, we will not allow him to steal your symbol if you are the one who registered the symbol before. Yes.
Okay, so once you register with that symbol, that'll be yours?
Yes.
Very good.
So you'll not be allowed to steal another person's symbol.
Okay. Eric Otieno says, the wrongful registration of Kenyans into political parties without their knowledge without their knowledge or consent is a bigger problem than meets the eye. It's only that most Kenyans haven't thought of checking their registration status online. Yes. It's true. It's true. Yes. A lot of Kenyans they don't know. They find out later that they are registered in some party.
Yeah, that's why we are saying we shall open it so that we clean it. We shall open it, and we have already opened it. Actually, initially, the register was not open. That technology, we are not put it on. We just put it actually towards the end of last year, November. That's when we did that. Before then, those Kenyans still used to be in that register. So we are giving them numbers. At least they should celebrate that they have an avenue to check even their membership status.
Kenyans in the diaspora.
It's a question of also of openness.
Sure. Kenyans in the diaspora, can they do the same thing? Go to the e-citizen, register in political parties as a whole?
Yes. They are able to do that.
Okay. The cleanup process, how long will it take? We have 6 months to the election, Registrar. This cleanup you keep talking about.
The cleanup will take place before the 26th
of
March. Yes. It will take place.
All right.
Yeah. It will take place.
We will take your word for it, and we will hold you to account.
Yeah. That's why we don't say what we cannot do. Yeah. We actually say what we can do. We promise what we can deliver. Yeah.
And Nderitu, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Well done.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Asante.
The Registrar of Political Parties, probably the most powerful woman in Kenya right now. In the parties she mentioned, have you heard of some of those? I haven't. There's 85 of them, by the way, and counting. Wow. Interesting times. With 6 months to go, 180 days to the general elections. Have you registered? Are you going to register? Do you care? You've got to care, because it's up to you. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag JKLIVE. Good night, good luck. God bless Kenya.